As we come to the end of the class, it is fitting that our final module's contents attempt to discuss the many faces of death. It is also intriguing, at least for me, as I've embarked on this journey of human promise, to see how death is so deeply and intrinsically tied to love, intellect, and virtue. We grieve at death because we have loved. We struggle to understand death because we think. We consider how we live because we wonder if there's something else beyond this existence. These preoccupations with death cross culture and race and gender and are considered in faraway lands across oceans and deserts and time. Death, in its fearsome wonder, unites all humans in shared experience, and world literature's great wealth of written work testifies to this eternal and biological truth. At the end of life is death. In this module, we will try to understand human responses to death as it is reflected in life. Since we've no lived experience of death, which would make death a lot less scary, then we'll try to understand it from life's point of view. Shakespeare's Hamlet sums up the human apprehension of death like this: "Who would burdens bear, to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose boundary no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of." Hamlet admits that the way we live is surely determined by our view of death. Since we get only one shot at this serious life event, it's no wonder we're nervous and afraid. However, after a great deal of reading and thinking about this topic, I'm pretty sure the two, life and death, compare far more than they contrast, and we can learn a lot about dying by considering a great deal about living. So Juana Ines de la Cruz's Sonnet 189 shows us death as honorable and life as inspirational. The poem is written to Sister Juana's benefactor, Señora Marquesa de Mancera, whom she calls Laura, and it is a eulogy, a tribute to the woman whose emotional and financial support made an illegitimate child's life meaningful. Seamus Heaney's Punishment shows us death as erasure and life as narrative. The death of the young adulteress in Heaney's poem is a cruel and brutal response to the memories of love brought about by two people, not just the one who is executed. The girl who dies centuries earlier is redeemed by the 20th century poet's story, and her voice, once silenced by the noose and the black sludge, is given expression hundreds of years later. Sej la Meloshes, A Song at the End of the World, and Encounter demonstrate the inevitable surprise of death and life as habit. Much like Chesterton's discussion of the sun rising in the Ethics of Elfland, Meloshes' speaker reminds us that the day of death, or the end of the world, is like any other day when we are not paying attention, and paying attention makes us keenly aware of life and loss. Finally, Marcel Proust's Remembrance of Things Past, or In Search of Lost Time, offers us a way to look at life and death in a meaningful way. His accumulation of everyday moments emphasize the wonder and beauty of those things and people we forget to treasure until it's too late. Death is portrayed in a myriad of ways in movies and literature, frightening us, luring us, and in some cases welcoming us. Consequently, we ponder death with a mixture of dread, intrigue, and sometimes longing. If the poems in this section combine to do a single thing, then I think a line from the 2005 movie Eon Flux might sum that one thing up. We're meant to die. It's what makes anything about us matter.